In September 2015, Lena Myers and Aaron Caldwell packed a weekend's worth of gear into the back of a rented SUV and drove north from San Diego to spend 3 days hiking Yosemite's lesser-traveled high country trails. They didn't come back. They weren't reckless people. Lena was a third-grade teacher. Aaron was a software engineer who kept his hiking boots in the back of the car year-round. They weren't thrill-seekers. They'd chosen Yosemite's southeastern loop, less popular than Half Dome or Glacier Point, but beautiful. Remote, quiet, the kind of place where people still believed in silence. Their permit started on September 18th. They were supposed to return by the 21st. They never checked out. When Lena didn't return to work on Monday morning, her assistant texted twice, then called. No reply. Aaron's boss assumed he extended the trip. He often did. By the time anyone realized they were truly missing, it was already Tuesday evening. A ranger was sent to the permit box. The SUV was still parked in the designated lot. Keys in the center console. Packets of trail mix in the cup holder. A handwritten checklist on the dashboard with 3 boxes ticked. Pack boots. Charge GPS. Print route. The 4th box, leave note at trailhead, was left blank. A search team was mobilized within 12 hours. By dawn on Wednesday, 3 crews and a helicopter were in the backcountry, fanning out along the Fletcher Creek drainage, the loop the couple had planned to hike. They were supposed to spend a first night near Vogelsang Lake, and a second near a set of primitive clearings 2 miles south, just beyond a ridge line that most maps didn't name. An easy loop, marked trails, nothing too advanced. But nothing was marked where they were supposed to be, and nothing was easy after that. Their first campsite near the lake was clean. Rangers found flattened grass, a single fire ring, and an empty tea bag. But no tent, no trash, no gear. Just 2 footprints, side by side in soft dirt, that ended at a rock slab and didn't continue. The search widened. Dozens of volunteers combed the slopes. Dogs were brought in. A drone was flown overhead. They followed ridge trails, drainage basins, and deer paths. For 5 straight days they searched. But Lena and Aaron were gone. The weather had been mild. No storms. No flash floods, no wildlife incidents reported, no injuries logged. They were just gone. By the end of the 2nd week, the official explanation leaned toward the usual. Possible injury plus disorientation. Got off trail. Tried to find a shortcut. Possibly fell into crevasse or waterway. Their families didn't agree. Neither did the volunteers. Especially one. Kevin Shin, a firefighter from San Jose who had joined after seeing their photo on Facebook. He said something that stuck with the other searchers. I've worked recovery. I know the smell. I know the signs. But this place, it doesn't smell like death. It smells like waiting. After 21 days, the official search was called off. No bodies. No gear. No phone pings. Nothing. The couple was listed as missing, presumed dead, but some of the volunteers didn't stop. They returned the next summer. And the next. Every year. Small groups came back with printed maps and Lena's photo laminated on the back of clipboards. And every year they left with nothing. No gear. No tent stakes. No clothing. No proof they had ever existed beyond a fire ring and a pair of fading boot prints. In 2018, a Reddit thread about the case went viral. Someone posted side-by-side satellite images from before and after the disappearance, showing a barely noticeable disturbance near an unnamed bend in the trail. A few users zoomed in. They swore they saw something. A shape, dark, narrow, almost like a footprint, but too long. Almost as if someone had been dragged. By 2019, the couple's names were synonymous with online mystery forums. Some believe they fell into a collapsed lava tube. Others thought it was a rogue animal attack covered up to protect the park's image. But one theory stuck more than most. They were never supposed to be found. In 2021, a backpacking couple claimed they heard a woman's voice singing quietly near the ridge south of Vogelsang. They were camped alone, miles from anyone, no trails nearby. The song was faint, just a few notes, but they remembered the lyrics clearly. Follow me back through the water, through the black. They thought it was a dream until they returned home and realized Lena's Spotify account had that exact lyric bookmarked in a playlist. It had never been made public. Park rangers dismissed the sighting. Audio hallucination. Sleep-deprived confusion. Nothing to follow up on. But Lena's younger sister, Maria, believed it. And the next summer, she came back. She brought Lena's old journal and camped where the second campsite was supposed to be. She stayed for 2 nights, left a small wooden cross by the stream. Then she hiked out, said she never heard anything. But her friend later said Maria wouldn't sleep indoors for weeks. Said she left the journal in a place only she and Lena would know. Didn't say where. Then silence. Until August 2024, 9 years after the couple vanished. A group of 3 college students, hiking off trail, following rumors from a missing person subreddit, made camp in a rock basin nearly unreachable from the trail. They were just trying to scare themselves. A dare, a legend. But the next morning, they found a silver chain, half buried in moss. It held 2 rings, tied together with a knotted string. One was engraved, "Yours, 2014. The other, "Mine forever." They posted a photo online, and the internet exploded because the rings matched a photo Lena's sister had posted 9 years earlier, the ones they wore on the trail. And they were found miles from where anyone thought the couple could have reached. But that wasn't all, because just beneath the moss was a second item, folded, wrapped in cloth, with faded ink in Lena's handwriting. It was a map, drawn by hand, and marked with just 3 words, "Don't go back." The photo was posted at 2:11 a.m. No caption, just a hand, fingers curled, holding 2 rings, threaded together on a string. Silver, weathered, the smaller one carved with "Mine forever," the larger, "Yours, 2014. It sat on Reddit for 12 minutes before someone recognized it. Then everything changed. By dawn, Lena Meyer's name was trending again, 9 years after she vanished with her boyfriend, Aaron Caldwell. Her engagement ring had been found by 3 hikers near a granite basin, not listed on any modern Yosemite trail maps. But the real shock wasn't the jewelry. It was the map found with it, drawn on faded notepad paper, crumpled, weather-worn, tucked inside a cloth pouch bound with twine. 3 words were written at the top in unmistakably careful handwriting. "Don't go back." The hikers were students. 2 men, 1 woman, all in their 20s. They've been following online threads about unsolved national park disappearances, a growing phenomenon known loosely as the missing ones. Lena and Aaron's case had always stuck with them, not because it was the scariest, but because it was too clean, too empty. No remains, no gear, no movement, no closure. Just space. So they made a pact. Hike as close to the last known point as possible and look for anything. A buckle, a boot print, a name. They found none of those. But near the edge of a dry stream bed beneath moss and dust was a stone pile, 5 flat rocks stacked beside a wall of broken granite. The top one had been smoothed intentionally, and carved into it, shallow but precise, was a spiral. Just once, not stylized, just present. And next to it, resting in a nest of rotted pine needles, was the pouch. The rings were inside, and beneath them, the map. They didn't tell anyone at first. They took photos, posted one, then debated whether to bring it to park authorities. They voted no, not because they were reckless, but because one of them just had read something a few years ago, a now-deleted Ranger blog post about the Myers-Caldwell search. It was a routine write-up, procedural, respectful, but buried near the bottom was a single line that didn't belong. Upper field crews encounter perimeter markers near Point G, but were told to leave the sector by district command. No reason given. That post disappeared 2 days later. So Jess screenshot it. And now, seeing the ring, she remembered. They followed the map. It wasn't detailed. No compass rose. No GPS coordinates. Just 2 hand-drawn landmarks. A ridge that looked like a sleeping bear. A crooked tree bent like a question mark. And a trail, curved, leading between them to an area marked with a black X. Beneath it, "We made it," but he saw us. At first, the group thought it was a hoax. Lena had been a third-grade teacher. Maybe she doodled it. Maybe it was just imagination. But when they followed the topography, the sleeping bear was real. The bent tree, too, splintered at the mid-trunk, but still alive, curved like a hook against the skyline. And the trail? Not a formal one, but a depression in the soil, a line in the land, a place where feet had passed long ago and never again. They reached the X by late afternoon. It wasn't marked, just a cluster of stone ledges, a crevice that ran cold, even in the sun, and something carved into the rock. A+C/9 to 19. Underneath, he waits on the ridge. They didn't know what that meant, but they knew the date, September 19th, was their second night on the trail in 2015. The night no one ever saw them again. That was when they finally went to the Rangers. They handed over the rings. They showed the map. They marked the X. The Rangers took notes, and then, without explanation, told them not to return. 2 weeks later, a Freedom of Information Act request filed by an amateur investigator revealed something strange. The area marked on the map had already been designated a restricted zone, not to the public, but internally, listed as Zone 6B, Temporary Silence Field. The designation was marked October 2015, 1 month after Lena and Aaron disappeared. It didn't appear on any maps. There was no public documentation, only a redacted memo, which included one unblurred sentence. No flyovers permitted. No dogs assigned. Limit soil disruption. Maintain auditory control. Auditory control. That phrase appeared nowhere else in park policy. Not in any incident log. Not in missing persons protocol. But it showed up again in a second document dated October 2017, after 2 hikers reported hearing music where no camps existed. The log notes their testimony. Heard female voice singing softly. Phrase repeated 3 times. Believed to be non-human source. Report escalated to district. Beneath it, Zone 6B tagged. Auditory control reaffirmed. Rangers denied the zone existed, but one whistleblower, speaking anonymously through a podcast, confirmed the spiral was real. I saw it, carved on 3 rocks, always near places where sound behaves weirdly. You shout, it doesn't echo. You clap, nothing bounces back, like the air's been flattened. That's where they were looking. The hikers who found the map refused interviews. But Jess posted one final message. Not to Reddit. Not to Instagram. She sent an email to a small blog that archives unsolved national park disappearances. It was short. No introduction. Just, we found the ring. The map is real. The zone exists. But there's something else. The tent is still up. It wasn't where anyone expected it to be. Not near the lake. Not by the stream. Not along the map trails. The tent sat in a sunken bowl, a basin of crushed rock and twisted pine roots, 2 miles off trail, behind a ridgeline no longer printed on most maps. It was hidden, folded into the terrain like a memory. But it wasn't buried. It was upright, unzipped halfway, still standing, like someone had just stepped out for a moment and never returned. A seasonal fire patrol team spotted the fabric from a distance while doing low-impact terrain sweeps for dry brush clusters. At first, they thought it was old garbage, a collapsed tarp or a ranger canopy from a past project. But as they hiked closer, one of them paused. She had worked the 2015 search. She remembered the brand of tent Lena and Aaron carried. A faded red North Face Rock 22. She saw the corner seam and froze. "It's theirs," she said. The air around the site felt strange. Cooler than it should have been. Still, dense, like the trees were watching. They called it in. And within 4 hours, 6 NPS officials arrived by chopper. No press, no volunteers, no dogs, just a quiet, unmarked containment. What they found inside the tent wasn't decay. It was preservation. 2 sleeping bags, zipped side by side, an unopened bottle of water, a small battery lantern, still functional, a journal, and something no one could explain, a cassette tape, labeled in black ink. September 19th, Ridge, don't listen. There was no cassette player in the tent, but one was retrieved from the archive room that night. It took 2 hours before anyone agreed to play it. 3 rangers in a room, 1 audio tech. The room was sealed. They hit play. At first static, then footsteps. Soft, uneven, then a breath, then a voice. Lena's. Fragile. This is day 2. Aaron's still asleep. We're not where we planned to be. Got turned around after the lake. Trail disappeared. We found this place. Didn't look like a trail, but it pulled us in. I know how that sounds, but it's real. The rocks felt warm, like they wanted us. Pause. There's a sound now. I keep hearing it. It's behind the ridge. Like breathing, but slow, measured. Aaron says it's just wind. But it doesn't stop when the wind stops. Silence. Then Lena again, lower this time. We saw someone. I think. Or something. Aaron said it was a shadow. But it stood up. It stood up from the rocks. And it looked at us. I don't think it had eyes, but I felt it watching. We kept walking. But every time we stop, we feel like we're being measured. Like it's counting how long we wait. The recording ends. But not cleanly. The final 5 seconds are garbled. Audio forensics later ran enhancements. Slowed it down. Cleaned the layers. And in the final second, a voice appears, male. Not Aaron's, not Lena's, not human, not animal. It says, "Turn around." They never did. The tent was airlifted out under wraps. But the journal wasn't hidden. It leaked. Photographs of several pages appeared online within 48 hours. And what Lena had written inside was worse than the audio. September 18th. Got in later than expected. Vogel sang too crowded. Found a side trail. Aaron called it a shortcut. Not on map, but it felt familiar. September 19th. I woke up with rocks in my shoes. We zipped the tent, but they were inside. For smooth stones, like they were place. No tracks. September 20th. We didn't move camps. But the trees are different. I swear there were 4 pines on the west side of the tent. Now there's 3. The fourth is gone, like it was never there. We're walking in a loop. September 21st. Aaron's different. He's quiet. He keeps watching the same tree. Won't say why. Said he hears someone humming. September 22nd. He walked into the rocks. I begged him not to. He said he had to go see. I waited 8 hours. He didn't come back. It got dark. I heard the breathing again. And something whispered, "Now you know." That was the final entry. No goodbye. No signature. Just a drawing at the bottom of the page. A spiral, slashed through the center. Underneath it, he waits for silence. The Park Service didn't comment, but the search reopened. Quietly, rangers returned to the tent site and began sweeping the surrounding zone. That's when they found the second spiral. Not carved this time. Built out of bone fragments. Arranged carefully in the center of a ring of rocks, like a signal or a trap. And in the middle, something wrapped in fabric. It was a photograph. Polaroid. Faded, but clear. Lena and Aaron standing together, arms wrapped, smiling. But neither of them had taken it. And the background wasn't anywhere they had hiked. It was inside a cave, walls behind them marked with hundreds of handprints, all the same size, all too small to be theirs, all reaching inward, toward the spiral drawn on the wall. There's a rule in Yosemite few people talk about. Don't follow the sound. It's not official policy. You won't find it in guidebooks or on signs. But the rangers know. They've heard it. They've felt it. That low, steady pull when a sound calls out from where no sound should be. A laugh with no echo. A voice with no breath. A name that doesn't belong to you, but still knows how to say yours. The final expedition was launched in early December 2024, under the radar, unannounced. 6 hand-picked personnel, 2 with search and rescue background, 1 cultural specialist, 3 wilderness pathfinders. Their mission wasn't recovery. It was containment. Because the site where Lena and Aaron's tent was found, and the second spiral made of bone, wasn't empty anymore. Someone had returned to it. On December 2nd, a maintenance drone doing winter slope imaging picked up heat signatures. 2 of them, stationary. At the site, no one had permits in the area. No ranger logs reported patrols. And no camps have been authorized within 15 miles of that point since early October. The drone circled again. Only 1 heat signature remained. Then it vanished. The ground crew arrived within 24 hours. The spiral of bone had been cleared, but one thing had been left in its place. A mirror, small, cracked, propped up against a rock. On the glass, written in faded marker. Do you see it now? Beneath it, a boot print, barely visible, small, unshod, human. They searched for 3 days, and on the 3rd night, they found the cave. It wasn't marked, wasn't mapped, wasn't visible from the trail or the ridge. It was tucked behind a splintered tree, near a crevice where no one would think to look. The opening was narrow, barely 3 feet tall. They had to crawl. 1 ranger backed out after only 10 feet, said the air felt wrong. The others pushed forward. The space widened into a circular chamber, 20 feet across. Stone floor, natural ceiling, curved like a dome. The walls, smooth and painted. Handprints, hundreds of them, small, gray, dusty. And in the center, a spiral, not painted, not drawn, but carved deep into the stone, with fingernails, some fresh, some not, and beneath it, a message, scratched slowly, 6 words, over and over, until they filled the wall. He waits in the silent place. They took photos, bag samples, marked the location. But when they returned the next day, the prints were gone. The spiral had been filled with dust, and in its place, on the floor of the chamber, lay a journal, wrapped in Lena's bandana, and sealed with a ribbon. Inside were 7 pages, written in faded ink. By Erin. She's gone. I followed the trail, but it led to nothing. I waited. Then I heard her again. I kept hearing her, but it wasn't her. It sounded like Lena, but wrong, like someone wearing her voice. I kept walking. I was already too far. Everywhere I stepped, the trees moved behind me, not like wind, like decisions. Then I found a place. It wasn't a cave. It was a room. A room someone had been in for a long, long time. It wasn't made for people, but it wanted us. I left the mirror because I thought if I could see it, I'd understand. But the mirror didn't reflect anything, just showed the cave and someone standing behind me. The last entry was written with shaking hand, barely legible. I gave it my name. It smiled. The journal ends with a final line, written in all capitals. IT doesn't follow you. It waits until you follow yourself. They never found Erin's body. But 5 days later, the mirror reappeared on a rock 2 miles west. This time it had no words, just a single handprint, too small to be his. Round pushpin 3 weeks later. In January 2025, Lena's Spotify account updated. 1 new like song. A field recording uploaded by a user with no other activity. Title, Through the Black Ridge Mix. It was 41 seconds long. Just humming. Then wind. Then silence. Then a whisper. Soft. Barely audible. Now you see. Round pushpin 2 months later. Lena's sister Maria received a package. No return address. Inside, a photo, a pine cone, a Polaroid. The photo was a scan of a trail map, the ridge, the stream, a trail that curved and stopped, and in the middle, a hand-drawn spiral. Beneath it, 3 words, "Don't go back." The pine cone was brittle, wrapped in a rubber band. The Polaroid, Maria and Lena, from when they were kids, at a birthday party, but it had been taken from her wall in 2017, and she never gave it to anyone. Yellow Square Epilogue. The cave was sealed in March 2025. Bricked, rebarred, covered with earth and wire. No ceremony, no press, no record. Only a notation in an internal NPS memo. Field 6B sealed. No signage, no mapping, no revisit. The park never reopened the trail. But visitors still pass nearby, and sometimes they leave things. Smooth rock stacked in 6s. Pine cones wrapped in red ribbon. Notes that say he remembers. And every September 19th, someone carves a fresh spiral into bark of the oldest tree on the ridge. No one's ever caught doing it, and it's always removed by rangers within hours. But by the next day, it always comes back. Fresher, deeper, this time with 2 sets of initials beside it. A+L. They weren't just lost. They weren't taken. They were remembered. And whatever waits beneath the ridge, it doesn't need to hunt. It only waits for you to come back. Welcome to Uncommon Stories. If this one stayed with you, tell me where in the world you're watching from and what time the truth finally found you. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and if the spiral ever finds you, don't go back.